Yeah, whenever I'm alone with
All right. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Watercolor Club. I just want to make sure that like the volume's working and stuff. It looks like it should be, but okay. Yeah, I think it should be. Okay. Let me know if you can't hear anything. So around like the 11, 12-minute mark is where you'll fast forward to. I'm trying to just like load everything in advance, so I'm not scrambling at the last minute. So hopefully this works for you guys because that seemed to work a lot better for me. Okay. Welcome. Let me turn this music down a little bit so I can hear myself think. Okay, cool. So if you saw my post and everything that I've been talking about, like on Instagram and everything, my stories and whatnot, we are going to paint with wine. So I'm going to revisit kind of this idea I had. I think it's been a couple years ago now. And I painted like just kind of an intuitive floral situation with wine. And honestly, it's been a while since I've painted a intuitive floral situation to begin with. So we're getting back into it. Okay. We're going to do a little exercise. And I just have some things I want to try with this. Okay. So I have my regular water cup. Usually, I have my warm and my cool, but I just have my one today. And then in the other one, I'm going to I've had this bottle of wine like laying out in our house. We opened it for something and then I never, like when friends came over or something, and then I never finished it. And I just like don't really want it. It's been sitting out for months, so I think I'd get sick from it. But anywho, we're gonna still put it to use. So I've got some wine. This is an apothic, not that it matters, but Cabernet Sauvignon, because maybe the grapes would be different too if you have different types of wine. Obviously, a rosé would be much different, or like a Sauvy B, which I am having a glass of. I poured myself. It's like it's Watercolor Wine Wednesday. I'm of course gonna have a glass of wine since we're celebrating. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna set that aside. Last time I did this, I did the outline in Bordeaux, this really pretty gouache color, and turns out the lid was left open a little bit, and so the whole thing dried up, which RIP, so very sad. But I found this Laca Quinacridone from My Marie Blue. It's just a watercolor, not a gouache, but I love this color, love this brand. Would recommend. But anyways, we're going to use this because she's gorgeous. Okay. So we're going to experiment. I guess I can move that out of the way. We're going to experiment a little bit. So, it just kind of, I get nervous, like broadcasting an experiment because I want things to be perfect, but like, what even is that? So let's just go ahead and get started. Originally I did like the base, all just one flat wine layer, which was kind of cool, but also very flat. So there's not very much dimension, at least in the wine I used previously. So I'm curious to see how this looks. It's also very strange, like intentionally dipping your brush in your beverage, because usually I try to avoid that. But here we are, painting with wine. Okay. So I'm going to grab some of that wine on my brush, and I'm going to think about my roses. I'm going to do like the wine rose kind of situation. I want to do basically the same thing that I had before, but just kind of like today's version of it now that I have grown since the last time. Okay. But also it's been a while since the last time, and I haven't been doing the same kind of painting. So we'll just see. Okay. So usually when I start a compositional piece with like floral arrangement, I want to put 3 kind of bigger statement roses placed sporadically in there. Okay. Not sporadically, but like intentionally more so. Okay. So I want to go on like kind of an S curve, or just kind of like moving your eye through the piece so that it's not all just like big, 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 or like big, 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 like stacked on top or in a line. We want it to create a little variety and break it up a little bit. Okay. So grabbing my big filbert brush. This is my Blooms brush from Princeton. It's a size 12 filbert. I love it so very much. Okay. Especially for these big, juicy kind of blooms. So I'm going to put my first one somewhere. I'm going to do my middle one first. I'm going to go here. So the thing I love about this brush is that you can just kind of use it to create petal shapes super easily, just by changing the angle of your brush. Okay. So roses are kind of rounded, like almost like kind of heart-shaped petals sometimes, but I want them to connect at that base. So I'm going to kind of make it a point to make sure that these petals really connect down there. I keep hitting this. It's a really long handle. Okay. And then on the back side, I don't necessarily have to put anything, but I'm going to maybe put like a little something on the other side, just so you can tell that there's maybe some petals on the other side. And I'm keeping an eye on this because I want to do some wet and wet techniques, okay? I want on this maybe some petals kind of like outward. Wow, I need to move this tripod because that is not working for me. Okay, and I'm just kind of angling my brush differently. And I'm going wide, kind of like at where the petal flares out, and connecting thin at the base. So it's kind of like a triangular shape, the way that petal fans out, and the way that it just kind of connects down to the base there, okay? While this is still wet, I can use the same brush, but I think I'm actually, because I have it available and it's right next to me, I'm just going to grab a round brush, okay? And I just got it wet with water, but I'm going to grab some wine, and I'm going to dilute this in some wine. So I'm using the wine as my water, basically. And I'm going to grab a pigmented little, whoop. Okay, so somebody commented before on my like TikTok video, and they're like, I'd love to see you add more wine, like layers on top. The thing about the wine, like you can't get the wet and wet blooms necessarily because it's all one like hue. Like you can't, it's not like you add more pigment to the wine necessarily. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to follow my petal lines as well and kind of outline some of those a little bit. Maybe add some wet lines just for some like veining details. Following the shape of the petal. Okay. Maybe I'll add some from the top down too. This is just kind of wet up here, so I might need to do a little wine control, not water control, wine control, right? Just kind of move it around. Maybe I'll grab a little bit of a dry brush and move that around a little bit. Okay. I'm not going to add too much to the top. I just don't want like this like really harsh line down here. But anyways, I'm going to grab some more wine. I'm going to add another petal. Same thing kind of here. Going wider at the base and connecting. Okay. And then maybe one more petal here. Maybe another one back here. I don't know if that was a good call or a bad call, but I mean, good and bad are all subjective, whatever. It was a call. All right, gonna drop in some bleeds. Ooh, ooh, I like the way she bleeds. And I can go back over some of these while it's dried up a little bit, just to add another layer of like texture and pigment and darkness to that center kind of area here. Okay, just kind of adding in some textures where I deem fit. Okay, where this is pulling up, I'm gonna pick it up a little bit. Okay, and bada boom, bada bam, baby. Okay, there's our first flower. She's gorgeous. Okay, let's do another one. So same kind of deal. This one I'm gonna make maybe a little bit smaller. I'm gonna do it up here as like more of a bud. So same kind of situation. Start with the petal. Wow. Start with the petal. I said I was going to do it smaller, and then this tripod thought otherwise. Okay, but I am going to kind of just follow the outside shape and make it more of like a, this freaking tripod. I need to, my desk is too high right now. It's the problem. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of make all these little petals meeting up at the top here, and then maybe I'll have like one kind of poking out to the side. Just barely starting to open, okay? And then I'm going to grab some of this wine and my quinacridone, Waka quinacridone color over here. Do the same thing. Drop in those bleeds So pretty. At the base there, kind of follow the shape. Go up maybe where I would want to break up the petals to indicate that there's some separation there. Okay. And you can go back and like, again, do another layer. Kind of try to add some little details in there. You can go from the top down if you want to as well. Maybe a couple little details in there. I don't like that. I'm going to try to lift that a little bit. Okay. All right, there we go. And while this is still wet, I kind of want to add, do I want to add grain? I think I'm going to do this like kind of all wine. So I'm going to just, I don't know. What do I do? Maybe I just go with the dark quinacridone and do the details. So I'm going to add my base here. We'll call this like rosé roses, something like that. Okay. And I like to use this bigger brush for my leaves still, but I'm going to mix it with my paint. Okay. And I'm going to just go ahead and add in a leaf. Roses have those kind of like pointy, jaggedy leaves. So I kind of just go create similar kind of shape. And then let's drag this guy. Give that a base here. Okay. Maybe we get a little more pigmented down that middle vein area. I don't know. It's still pretty wet, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay. Beautiful. I'm going to lift up some of these because it's pooling pretty good over here. I just don't want all of that, so I'm just going to dry my brush, pick it up, the clean, damp brush. Okay. Always go back in and add some more details. I'm going to add another leaf over here just because I've got it up and out. Okay. Okay. Grab some more paint. Okay. Cool. I don't like how like perfectly straight this is, but you know, oh well. Oh well. Okay. All right. Now it's just kind of like a dance and a balance. Like, do I want to go back now and add another flower? Which I think I do. So I'm going to grab this and maybe just do like another tiny little bud type flower over here. Like real small. Like I thought I was going to do the other one, but actually small this time. Okay. And then maybe I'll leave the bottom open a little bit more like that. So it's like you can angle it more down and see it at a different angle. Okay. And then I'll just do my bleed here. Touch it. Maybe we get a little something poking out there. I don't know. Sometimes I just do things because it just feels good at the moment. And then I'm like, why did you do that? Okay. All right. Put it down. Take a step back. Grab a sip of wine. She's looking good. Okay. So that's 3. I know I said I usually do my 3 focal points, which those really could be. I think I'm going to do Honestly, I'll probably just do like this really this one big one. Then this one's pretty big too. And I'll probably just do some like 2 more small. I like doing odd numbers. So I'll probably just do like another bud here and like maybe one more here and then fill in some leaves. And I think that that'll be a good rendition of what I'm wanting to accomplish here. Okay. So I'm going to grab some wine on my brush. Let's go ahead and add this other little bud in here. Do this one a little bit bigger. Again, kind of like angling down. Changing the angle. Maybe this one will be a little more open. And like back here you can see. I feel like that changes everything. I don't know. I shouldn't have tried to do that completely upside down because I don't like it. I just don't like it. Okay, but let's add our bleeds and maybe we will. We're not giving up hope just yet. Okay. Just touching that color onto the wine, giving this bud kind of a base to stand on, stem to grow from. Put little thorny guys in there. Okay. Cool. And then we need another little bud over here. Or do we do a big leaf here? We'll do a big leaf. Because I want some movement kind of this way. Okay. And then we'll pull that in this way. We'll give that another little base. I'm going to pull up some of these more wet parts. Okay. I'm going to grab some more pigmented paint with my round brush. By the way, this is a size 8 round. I don't know if I mentioned that. I'm going to drop in another bleed down the center here. Tap it in over there. Okay. All right, now let's do another little bloom here. Just like a tiny little guy. Like literally so tiny like that. Okay. And then let's add in some bleeds. Kind of putting like the indication of a small leaf over there. Okay. And then I kind of just want to fill in some more leaves. So I'm going to grab some more of our pigmented pinky wine color. I'm going to add another one here. Kind of just a small one to kind of go with our movement here. I'm going to put a small one coming out this side. Okay, maybe a small one even coming up here. Okay, and one this way. Now we're just kind of filling in whatever space like feels good, really. That's all that is. Okay, and I'm using a variety of shades too. Maybe I'll put another one over here. One here. Okay, here. Okay, while some of these are still wet, I'm going to go try to add a little bit of a bleed. Just a little bit. Okay, cute. She's looking good. I like her. Okay. There's been this like monotone tree with all these cute berries, and this makes me just want to add like some cute dark berries in here. Do we do that? Let's do it. I'm just gonna throw in some little dots. Okay. I don't know. Does this add what I wanted to? I don't know. I mean, I do like it, I think. I'm just doubting myself as I'm going, but that's normal. When don't we doubt ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Stop doing that so much. I'm talking to me mostly, but you too. Feels like she cute. This is where the wine comes in handy, and you just kind of like blur your eyes and just kind of let them go. Okay. Cute. I love her. Okay. Wow, that was quick. I feel like I'm going to take up some of this excess wine paint, the dry brush, just because I think I'm going to try to blow dry it a little bit, and I don't want those going rogue everywhere. Okay, so you can just kind of see where it's pooling up, and then see if you can lift a little bit of that with a dry brush. And that'll just help your dry times and also help a little control issue with like drying speeds, and if you're blow drying, like how well it blow dries. Okay, I'm gonna mute you, and then I'm gonna blow dry, and we'll be right back. Okay, beautiful. So I still have this Laco quinacridone. I'm gonna use that along with the rest of my wine for this as my water. But we're gonna do a little outline session. Okay, so it's very similar to when we do like marker, we just have a little less control because of our, or not a little less control, we have more things to control and to think about because of our brush. So like the variability of our brush pressure, because the further down you press, the harder and thicker your line will be. The lighter pressure you use, the thinner and more dainty your lines will be. Okay. And you can kind of use a variability in there to make it feel like handmade, you know, and it just feels really pretty, I think. So we're just going to go ahead and go lean into the shapes that are already here. And we're just going to start outlining. Okay. So just like petal by petal, just light pressure, just kind of outlining each shape we have in here, giving a little maybe we have some little lines on our petals from the top. This one I envision kind of being wrapped around, seeing more of the side. Okay, this is definitely background too. Maybe we'll do some dots in here for the stamen area. Just changing the angle of some of these petals with my outline. Okay. Okay. Okay, this one I'm doing this little like moon shape on it too, to kind of make it feel like it's a little flipped in. Change the perspective on that a little bit as well. Okay. Cool. Let's do a leaf. So I'm just going to go down the middle, and then I really just kind of like very lightly, vaguely follow some of these lines. Not working too hard for that, not overthinking it. Okay. Petal. Okay, and it just starts to slowly come together. I almost wish this color was a little darker, but I'm digging it. Okay. So it doesn't even have to follow the shape exactly. I just kind of like lean into the generalized feeling of what is there and then just kind of go with it. We're not making anything exact. We're not making a spitting image of anything. Okay. The more you do this, the more comfortable you'll get with it, the more you'll start seeing the shapes and being able to pull them out on your own without like needing so much of a reference or wanting as much guidance. It's just kind of a study. Like it just takes a minute to build up the muscles and kind of understand how that all works. Okay. I don't quite know how I'm going to outline the berries yet. I feel like that's something a little different. But blueberries and a lot of berries have that like funny little tuft in the middle, and I think I might play on that a little bit. I'll show you what I mean here in a bit. Just kind of making my way through these leaves. And see, I'm very imperfect, very like irregular in the way that in the depth or the how much pressure I'm putting on my brush here. I want it to feel irregular. I really like that vibe. Feels more handmade, more imperfect, and you get kind of those tapered edges, which is fun. So I'll put some little stamen dots maybe poking through here. And there we go. Just a couple more leaves. It's hard sometimes not to like want to speed through this after you get like, okay, I'm done with leaves. I don't want to do it anymore, but just hold true to the vision. Don't get lost in the noise. Find something, take a step back, grab a sip of your wine, water, whatever you need to enjoy the process, and just have fun with it. That is where you're going to get the best results, the best outcome, come from the best process, the best time that was had. Okay. Okay. For these berries, we're going to go, I'm just going to put maybe a little like highlight on some of them, or shadow, I should say. Shadow, and then like a little X or a V kind of thing to be like the top of the berry. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Not all of them have to be the same. It's actually better if they're not. Makes it feel a little more organic. Okay. Oops, can you even see? Sorry. Not really paying attention to my screen. All right. Cute. I love it. Actually, this is so much cuter than the last attempt, I think. Like very similar vibe, but I think putting the paint like with the bleeds made such a world of difference to give it so much more like extra dimension. I'm going to put these side by side and you'll have to tell me what you think, because I think that we've come a long way since our original attempt, but you'll have to let me know what you think. But anyways, so much fun, so cute. Thank you guys for joining me for this week's lesson. This is a fun, quick little practice. I think that since we're doing them weekly, I think the 30 minutes to like 45-minute time frame is like a good maintenance level practice. It's like usually enough for people to kind of set aside. Most of us can set aside 30 to 45 minutes for ourselves. So I'm trying to be mindful of like how much I'm giving you each week. I don't want to inundate you, but I don't want to leave you hanging. So you let me know how much is too much or not enough. Also let me know if there's anything you're wanting to learn specifically. I kind of have been falling back on those five-step florals. But there's plenty more that we can cover, and I do have some other ideas. So keep an eye out, but also let me know what you want to see, because that influences my decisions heavily. So yes, let me know what you're thinking, what you want to see, and then check the schedule that I posted to the Patreon channel for our upcoming live painting sessions. I do have one opportunity in person at Proletariat tomorrow, Thursday, the 10th. So July 10th at Proletariat in Garden City. So cute. They have a great wine patio setup situation. So much fun. And then we have Watercolor Club in person meeting here next Wednesday. So join me for that if you can. And if you're in person, you also get discounts if you are a VIP member or above. So check the channel for that. But yeah, keep an eye out. I have some upcoming opportunities this month, and then we're going to be on vacation in Hawaii at the end of the month, which I'm still going to be doing live painting from there. So that should be really fun. We'll get at least one session in Hawaii. So yay. But anyways, thanks for joining me. And this was such a fun one. And I will see you next week. I think we have it scheduled for Monday. I'll have to double check, but refer to that post, like I said. So yeah, thanks for coming. And I love you all. And I'll see you soon.